Hi, I'm Jasmine, and this is Not Another PD. It's for helping professionals who are tired of theoretical training that doesn't translate to the work you actually do. Here, we talk boundaries, leadership, systems, and how to protect your well-being while doing complex work every day. I'm so glad you're here. Episode 35. Today I'm joined with Jase Wilson, who is a personal trainer and allied health assistant who originally came from a more traditional fitness background before being introduced to the disability sector through a young client with autism who had been referred to his gym for some support around anger management. After learning that this young man had never been invited to a birthday party or had close friendships, this prompted Jase to create an inclusive fitness group to help build social connection and community through movement and shared experiences. 7 years later, that same client is still working with Jase and now has close friendships and a much stronger sense of connection and belonging. That experience became the catalyst for Slim Gym FrieNDIS, a program focused on inclusion, social connection, and using fitness as a platform to support people in a practical, non-clinical environment. Through his work as an allied health assistant, Jase also helps participants and allied health professionals translate therapy goals into real-world practice alongside peers in a supportive community setting. Like many people working in the sector, this journey also led Jase to discover his own neurodiversity, which has further shaped the way he approaches connection, inclusion, and support. And he also runs a networking group for professionals working in the disability sector and also has a blog for these professionals, which is actually how we first met. Welcome, Jase. I'm so thrilled that you're on the podcast.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Can you share a little bit about this networking group that you've created and what prompted you to start it?
Probably a few things. I started it because I knew I needed to get to know other people in the industry, because I came into it not knowing anything, not knowing anybody, from just being in a gym. And I realized from my gym setting that the best way to, I guess, grow my business was to make sure everybody knew me. And when you're outside of a box, which is the gym, in the big world, it's not so easy to find everybody, smile at them, and make friends. So I created the network groups basically to make it easier for myself to become known and to get to know a bit more. So the networking group, it became a place for me to learn as well. So I found out a lot of things that I didn't know. Well, it's no longer just about meeting people. That's obviously important. But different providers come in with different experiences, different workloads, different types of clients, different needs, different service needs, all sorts of different things. And it's eye-opening, and it's a nice platform to learn from other people's experience.
And we should also mention for anyone listening, because people who are listening could be located, anywhere in Australia or even anywhere in the world, but Jase's networking groups are face-to-face events. So is it just like mainly the southern Brisbane and northern Gold Coast?
So at the moment, we've got two venues. So we alternate monthly from Eagleby. It's Eagleby next month, which is July. So first Tuesday of each month, we alternate. So next month, July, will be in Eagleby, and then August is in Helensvale.
Yeah, amazing. And don't worry, everyone, we definitely will put the link in the show notes so you're able to join and come along. It's really interesting, Jase, because I'd been working in this sector for a very long time, but something that made me very nervous was actually attending in-person networking events. So I remember attending one of your events like for the very first time in Eagleby and felt so nervous, and I was running a little bit late because I'm not super familiar with the area. So I think my map took me down a wrong turn. I remember entering late and feeling so nervous process, but one thing I noticed about you from immediately when I met you, Jace, is that you have this ability to make people around you feel really comfortable. And you could have easily sort of glared at me and be like, oh, we started whatever 7 minutes ago, but you're kind of like, welcome. And you had these delicious biscuits in the corner and you're really just encouraging everyone to eat the biscuits as well. So I just found
No
that you
one
created well, I did. I think I had two that time, but maybe that was nervous eating. I'm not sure. But you created such a really welcoming space, I must say. And it's a lovely opportunity to then meet with people, as you mentioned, of diverse backgrounds. So you had allied health professionals, you had people from accommodation services. How would you describe, I guess, the mix of professionals that come to your networking spaces?
There are a few that come to most events. Obviously, there's fires to put out in different roles, so not everybody will always attend everyone. Again, it's diverse. Sometimes you might get 3 housing providers or cell providers, and that's all that rocks up. And next time you might get a nurse company. There's often BDMs there. There's all sorts of different allied health.
Yeah. It's also a great opportunity to find out any updates in the sector, what other organizations are doing, and it's also a great place for referral pathways as well, isn't it?
Yeah, there's the chance to connect with other providers and then work out how your referral system works. And I think to me, that's how I set up the networking event. Is it's beyond just giving a business card, right? Which I think was something that I found with some of the other networking events. To me, it was stale and awkward. Being in a room full of people, my spidey senses are already crackling. And no, not my spidey senses, but you know what I mean. Hopefully, I'm
Yeah.
already awkward being in the room with other people. There's different things to work out and blah 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 blah. The rabbit hole there. So I've tried to set this up as a way to make it easier to get to know people and lead into tangents. So it's not just like, hello, my name is, and here's my business card next. I'm gonna question. I question stuff. I've got questions. I'm gonna ask those questions, or somebody else in the room is, or somebody with ADHD that's just gonna butt in and go, "Hey, what's this thing?" And it's like, cool. That not only are they allowed to, they're encouraged to. We make it comfortable like that, so that sometimes somebody comes in and they're just thinking they're going to be talking about the business, and then the passions flowing out as they start to talk about their little Johnny, and little Johnny did this and it was so good and we were excited about it. And then when another provider is sitting there and going, you know what, I could refer little Sarah to these people because I can see the way that they care, and it's not just a stale business card. We ask why. Why are you here? Because 95% of the people that I've met, it's not just business. There's always a very real life reason everybody got into this industry. Often lived experience, often family members. Similar situation to me. I guess I met someone, and there's a lot of, if not me, then who? Or there was something broken, and they didn't know that there was anyone else there fixing it. So they come in with their fixed version of it. And those are the whys. Those are the like, okay, this is why my little Sarah or my little Johnny should be referred to you, because now I know who you are. Or now I know the empathy that resides behind the business card. Or now I know the sort of people that this company employs, because that's the care, that's the real stuff that matters.
Yes, and any of us could Google different services. So we could look up behavior support in Gold Coast and look up any organization, but then what's their point of difference? And when you actually get to meet either the founder of the business or their amazing staff, you can see often that it's those values and those shared values that we all have to really want to make a difference and make that impact on really vulnerable clients. Then that can often be that catalyst to actually make that referral to that service above another one that's website looks like everyone else's with all the stock images, and there's no kind of point of difference. And the way that you structure your networking groups is, and I love how you did ask everyone like, why are you in this industry? Because there's certainly easier ways to make money than starting your own business in the NDIS space with all the changes that are happening. There's easier ways to make money. So if people are in it to make money but are not don't have their values at the corner of it, then they're actually going to find that they're struggling to get those referrals because people will know that they're not necessarily coming from a genuine place.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You've got to see behind the curtain.
Yeah, I love that behind the curtain, and that I definitely could see behind the curtain into your networking spaces and really see the genuine heart that everyone has in doing what they do. So, Jace, you're a qualified personal trainer, but what prompted you to move into personal training?
I was morbidly obese, big drinker, big eater for a long time. A lot of my jobs were not conducive to having a optimally fit body, and a lot of life choices were not the best. So I was at a point for a few years. Every New Year's, I'd be like, right, I'm going to lose a bit of weight, and I would do that, and I'd do all right, and then I'd go back to my old habits. Um, one year when I was doing it, my mental voices were saying, "Geez, you're pretty good at explaining this to yourself, Jase. I reckon you become a pretty good personal trainer." And then I started doing pretty well with the weight loss that year, and I was thinking, you know what, I've said it, I reckon in about 18 months, I'll do the course, do it as a bit of a side gig, the bonus on the side. And then I got a redundancy from work. And it was uncanny. Like, it was like all of these hidden doors just opened and I was sucked through them. Like, it wasn't just walking through. There was impossible things that were happening, like phone calls somehow being misrouted to the head of the training course provider who had a course starting the next day with 2 spots left. Not 2 spots like as in a sales pitch, we've got 2 spots left, but actually having 2 spots left. The fact that the course was being held about 100 meters from my workplace that I'd been made redundant at, who were also gave us 4 months notice. It was like the universe or whatever, just went, "Oh, you're supposed to be here." And it really felt like that. I ended up at a gym, the big gym that was just opening, and got a few years there to build who I am as a trainer. That's part of the motto there is less bad, more good. It's not about being perfect, it's about improving.
Then you had your very first neurodivergent client in the gym, and I know we were speaking sort of off camera on another day, and you were talking about this amazing client that you started working with in the gym.
Looking back, so actually my first client quite clearly had a disability, like he told me from the start. But looking back on what I know now, I attracted probably the majority of my clients in the gym were on the spectrum, knowing it or not. I had no idea. They were just the bubbly, friendly people that made sense to me as well. And I think my own neurodiversity, I set the platform to make it easier for them to feel comfortable with me. And finding a PT, comfort's important. So that's how I became, I guess, I didn't know I was the disability trainer, but apparently the staff at the gym thought of me as the disability trainer. And I am allowed to say his name. His mum and him have given me permission, and they look at all of our socials. So Josh got referred in, and he has ASD. He was referred by his psych to the gym for anger management issues. He was 14 at the time, so he was like just old enough to come into the gym, and sat down, had a very long talk with mum. Then as they left, mum gave me a call like 10 minutes later, and she's like, "Oh my God, Jase, you don't understand. Like, he said something like I could deal with him or something like that." And she's like, "You don't understand. Like, that's not his response to people after a first meeting, like ever. For whatever it was about me, which now I realize is the neurodiversity, it's the same wavelength." We worked in the gym together for a while. He presented with a whole new set of situations in the gym that I wasn't used to. His meltdowns weren't screaming or yelling or throwing things or anything like that. His meltdowns were very internalized, which was still quite difficult for a personal trainer in a gym. Mum says it's great for him. The fact that he kept showing up was a very big deal.
It sounded like you started to look at, well, what does success look like for these individual clients? And it looks different for everybody. And it sounds like just the fact that Josh was attending the sessions with you is a huge indicator of success, which is amazing.
Yeah, it was from my perspective, this was a step out of my ego and not looking at what I believe we were supposed to be doing, but looking at what he needed, wanted, and what would get him towards his specific goals. And I think that translates to what we do now, because if you walk past some of the groups that I do in the park, you wouldn't go, oh, there's a personal trainer. Clearly, personally training a group of guys with disabilities. I doubt that's the thought process that goes through most people's brains when they walk past. They'll be walking past going, oh, those guys look like they're having fun. Or that guy's a bit of a weirdo, me.
We're all a bit weird, aren't we? A bit quirky, but that's probably what draws these clients to you, because you're a bit quirky and they probably just love it and they can relate to you.
Yeah, I think that's what's drawn out over time. It's accidentally finding out, thankfully, like answered a lot of my answers in life, finding out that I'm neurodiverse, and I said early on, I'm like, look, I don't know what it is that I'm doing that's different to anybody else. Like, I'm just trying to look after the guy in front of me. And finding out that I'm neurodiverse, so that was like, that's what I'm doing differently. It's not me going, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. It's like, I just am. Be the spoon.
Yes, I love that. Be the spoon. Yeah. And you're definitely someone, Jase, who's really creative, and you don't necessarily just like follow the grain, and you're, prepared to be creative and think a little bit differently. So, Jase, just to wrap up, I can't thank you again for sharing your insights with us. Can you let people know how they can reach you, and if you have any exciting events coming up?
Yes, always got exciting events coming up every day. So we've got a disco coming up on the 30th. So that's between 6 and 9 p.m. at Arc Rehab in Helensvale. So that's BYO support worker. We just provide the platform. It's a disco. It's dress up. This one's 80s theme. Support workers come in free. It's out of pocket, so we're not billing NDIS for it. So it's about $26 at the moment. And that's just out of pocket. You can pay on the day, though, depending how many people come, I might turn off the tickets. But yeah, there's just a bit of fun. Hokey pokey, Macarena, lots of prizes, setting it up to be easy to people to make friends.
So Helensvale is on the Gold Coast for anyone who's local. So it is on the Gold Coast, in the northern part of the Gold Coast. And we'll put the links for people to register as well.
So that's on my website. There's an events tab.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Thanks so much, Jase. Is there any other last insights or any tips you wanted to share with our amazing audience?
So for anyone that is looking to join one of these things like the fitness groups, I think one of the biggest hurdles is the anxiety to coming in and, oh no, will they accept me? Come along and suss it out. Even parallel play. You don't have to do everything that everyone else is, and I adapt to the people that are in the rooms. It's a very individualized thing, even though it's a group. Each group is different.
Yeah, it's really good advice. And as leaders in the sector, we do need to adapt our approach to who's actually in front of us. And it's not a one size fits all approach. Your groups sound absolutely amazing. So does the disco. Thank you so much, Jase, for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me on Not Another PD. If this episode was helpful and you'd like to find out more, you'll find ways to work with me in the show notes. And if there's a topic you would like covered or someone you think should be on the podcast, I'd love to hear from you. Remember, clear boundaries don't just protect our clients, they protect us too.